Recently, I focus primarily in southern Maine, and I would say we're seeing activity primarily in affordable housing and hospitality from a construction standpoint, and we're seeing some glimmers of hope and some increased activity in leasing as well on the office side in attractive properties. The Class B, less attractive properties are a little bit more difficult, but there's a flight to quality.
Well, I think that, at least from our perspective as an engineering firm, we're beginning to see folks invest money in engineering and environmental investigations, more associated, at least an increase, in private sector money as opposed to public sector money. And we're seeing some growth there. It's not astronomical at this point, but it's indicative that I think things are getting better, and we're seeing people getting a little less tight with money and trying to move ahead with some projects.
Most of our client base are, national type companies: Hannaford, Walgreens, CVS. We mostly see it on the renovation side. They're not really doing a lot of new construction. So we've found that we've had to be very aggressive and return to our base, and so we're doing renovations of a lot of projects that say we've built over the last 5 or 10 years, because retailers tend to freshen their product every 5 or 6 years. So that's basically where our growth is coming.
We're seeing things stalled, in particular in the industrial market, where there's not as much growth in distribution or manufacturing, so we're seeing a limited demand from those types of users.
I think things have stalled in an area where people have less money to spend and have to be more careful. We're not seeing any effects from those folks that have large portfolios and are able to move ahead with a lot of capital. And of course, the folks on the other end that have very limited capital haven't been doing anything in a long time. But the folks that are in the middle, they're still where they would normally be doing work. I think they're still waiting to see how things are going to work out.
Well, again, along the same lines, since we've basically been a retail contractor, there's just not a lot of new construction. So that's.
I would say some indicators would be, decreasing vacancy rates, I think, are always a good sign. And you're able to really tell those, I would say, on a quarterly basis. So that's been a good indicator. And then other than that, I would say it's also just general activity, and the phone ringing in the office is a pretty good indicator that activity's picking up. And we're starting to see that. I think the last quarter of last year was certainly better, and we're seeing good signs for this coming year.
Pretty much, I would say that we perceive change in the real estate market when we begin to see people asking us to do work, design work, environmental investigation work, and particularly when that money is private sector money. Then we can get a pretty good idea that things are recovering a little bit, maybe stabilizing, maybe a little bit slow, maybe platform, whatever that condition is, depending upon private sector investment. That's when we can monitor things. It's been getting better over the past few months, and I think let's hoping it continues.
We look to developers, because most of, again, our client base, the large corporations, they use local developers for their expansion. So we have a network of developers throughout New England that we've done a lot with over the years, and we typically look at what they have in the pipeline and where their development opportunities are.